Me
No,
to
you're
jump
fine.
in there.
You're fine.
All right. I know you keeping the
I
alien
I
break.
know you. I know you didn't actually see the movie, Jay.
No.
Your answer will probably be it is reality. If you saw
Uh,
it,
no.
just knowing the way you are. But
So basically, movies have they use some kind of real story to kind of write this. So this kind of sounds like the story of Gary McKinnon in 2002 when he hacked NASA and he hacked the Pentagon and he found non-terrestrial officers. He found what was a space force before there was a space force. There were even ships that were spaceships that were USS whatever. So he hacked them for 13 months. He's from the UK. So that's a true story, So, I mean, he got it, he got in trouble for it. I think he went to jail for it. But that would be sounds like the story where they're getting the legitimate stories from. But he said there's non-terrestrial officers, that work for the government. There's, the officer that's the guy that's from Venus, that's like 500 years old, that supposedly works in the Defense Department. And they like Phil Schneider talked about him. I mean, these government contractors that actually were part of the government that saw some pretty interesting stuff. Phil Schneider, he came forward. He was a whistleblower. He talked about, was it New Mexico, in Dulce, New Mexico, where they broke into an alien base. They found an alien base under the military base. They killed some, and he was hit with an energy weapon, and it cut his fingers off and cut into his belly, and he has the scars to prove it. So, and he was a defense contractor. There's many, many stories out there that prove that, yes, they are here. They're disclosing something to us. They're letting us in on something, right? They'll never let us know the whole truth. They'll let us know bits and pieces. But the stories have been around long before the United States government existed.
There's a conversation to be had.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
what up? What up? What up? It's a Conversation to Be Had podcast. I'm your host Chalo. That's my co-host Rashawn. And today we're going to talk about the movie Disclosure Day. But before we get into that, I need you to, like, subscribe to the video. The producer's been getting on me because I've been pumping it up. So we need those likes. We need those subscribes. We also got a new show, little competition for us called the True Junkies. We need y'all to check them out. It's a good show. They're some pretty good guys, so check them out. So with that said, let's bring in our guests. What's up, Christy? What's up,
Hey guys,
Jay?
how are you?
What's up, guys?
We're gonna talk about the movie Disclosure Day. Let's what we'll do is we'll take a look at the trailer first. You all right, Rashawn?
Hold on, man. I can't with this hat, this tinfoil hat, man. I just can't, man. Like I can't.
Some people need that, man. The radio waves and stuff. Some people need that.
That's
I
right.
love how you embraced your conspiracy theorist side right there, brother.
I didn't want to disappoint.
You didn't.
All right.
You never do.
So we're gonna take a look at this trailer before we get into talking about the movie.
I can see you.
I am much more inclined now than I was when I made Close Encounters to really believe that we're not the only intelligent civilization in the universe.
What did you steal?
Secrets. People have a right to know the truth.
This is a story about us, all of us,
Good morning, Kansas City.
up against the most extraordinary event in human history.
What's happening to me? I'm frightened. I'm frightened out of my wits.
You don't need to be. You have someone else.
Daniel Kellner,
Who is this?
do not go back to the house. They found you. I don't know who you are, but they're gonna kill you.
The human race cannot accept what we know. We need to stop it any way we can.
What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing?
This 79-year cover-up of the truth has to end.
We're interrupting our coverage.
How will disclosure change us? I believe for the better. It will remind us of our capacity for empathy, and that there is something bigger out there than just ourselves.
The only way to know your purpose is to go back to where it all began. I know you.
I know you do. What happened to us?
I used to say to myself, wouldn't it be wonderful if all of this turned out to be true? I'm now thinking, wouldn't it be wonderful for people to know they're coming? All of this is true.
Disclosure Day.
Okay.
I just have to say, watching a trailer for the first time after watching the movie for the first time is really interesting because then you're like, oh, okay. Really glad I watched the trailer afterwards.
Because it totally confuses you. That's not, yeah, it's meant to throw you off a little bit. But it was a very, very good movie, I thought.
I loved it.
Yeah, I like movies where I can't kind of figure the whole thing out, figure the end out before it happens. So, I mean, it really kept you in suspense. It kept you, on the edge of your seat to kind of figure out, what was going to go on, what was happening, like what was the real backstory going on. You had to figure it out. It wasn't just laid out for you,
Yeah, for sure.
What did you think about the movie, Sean?
I loved it, man. I think that what I like most about the movie is that it's layered. There's layers to it, right? If you just scratch the surface, it's a movie about, aliens coming to Earth. But I mean, you got to dig deeper into that and what he's really saying. And I think he kind of touched on that when he said empathy in the trailer. And we could dig into that a little bit deeper later on in the show. But there's definitely layers in this. I mean, this movie has a lot of deeper meanings to it that I think maybe, a lot of people might miss. Maybe not. I know that I did a little bit of research on it and I found some interesting things on the topic. It's real quick. It's important to remember he did Close Encounters of the Third Kind too, which was another alien movie, which was amazing. So, yeah, I loved it, man. It was great.
Okay.
Is this going to be spoiler free or are we going to talk freely about the movie? It's a pretty new movie, so I'm not quite sure where we're going with it today.
Spoiler alert.
I'm going to put the spoiler alert. So people can wait to see it if they don't, want to spoil the movie. Let's start off with the question of, do you believe in aliens? Because that's basically the backstory of the movie is alien life form. Is that something you believe in, Sean?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, the universe is vast, right? Like I can't imagine that there's no other beings or alien beings out there within the universe. I kind of liken it to the fact that that's why I kind of like what this movie did was it took us out of the center. Like we always see ourselves as the center. You remember back in the day when we thought that the sun revolved around us? And then we found out later it didn't. I think that what the movie did was it took aliens that said, okay, we are not the centerpiece of the universe. There's other people out there. And so absolutely, man. I just can't see having a universe the size that it is without any other type of beings out there. There's no way. There's other things.
Well, Jay, you look like an alien, so I automatically
you already know his answer.
He skewered them out of
Absolutely, 100%. Universe is like Rashawn said. The universe is too vast. It's too big. The planet's too
Okay.
old. You know.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely.
So we had the movie, you know, we had this this intertwinement between the aliens and the humans, two in particular, but you have to go through the movie to kind of, you know, get to that point and figure that out. But what I want to ask is, how close to reality do you think that this movie is?
You asking like, do I think that, you know, aliens have hit the Earth already and that we're hiding them somewhere in like a cave and everything like that?
Because basically, I'm gonna get audience the gist of the movie.
Okay.
Gist of the movie was there was information on alien research that was basically stolen to make public, and it's basically you're watching the not government but the people behind the alien research try to get that information back by any means necessary. So what I'm asking you is, do you believe that there's basically a need to know section, I wouldn't consider them government because that entity wasn't really government affiliated, that, you know, has done this research, done the experiments, know things that the public isn't privy to, you know. So I'm asking, how close to reality do you think the movie was?
I would say very close to reality, right? I mean, so when I was doing my research on this, I mean, when you look at like historically, I mean, the reported UFO or alien crashes that have happened throughout history, there's like hundreds of them. I mean, it goes back to, I got it right here, Aurora, Texas, 1897, Italy, 1933, Roswell, 1947, New Mexico, 1948, Arizona, Kingman, 1953. So, I mean, I can't fathom in my mind that all those were all fake or not, or made up, you know? And I could totally see the government, or not even the government, or another part of the government act in what they think is the best interest of us by keeping all of that hidden. So I think this is I can see this being really close to reality. Yes.
What about you, Christine?
I think that it's very plausible, whether it be a non-government or government agency, probably a mixture of both, to be honest with you, have knowledge, have done experimentation. We saw it in the movie, you know, they were experimenting. I think for sure that it's a thing. Will we ever actually know the truth? No, because we don't know the truth about anything, right? If you remember the last time we all met, we were talking about whether aliens and angels could have been referencing the same similar thing, which is very interesting because the timeline, Rashawn, that you mentioned about the alien events that have been kind of cited throughout time started at 1897. Before
Yeah.
that, by any other name, could have been called something other than alien, but still similar patterns exist throughout history, right? So to ignore those patterns would be to ignore reality and feel more comfortable by sitting in that egocentric way of thinking that we are the center, that we are the greatest, that we're all powerful. We're not. We're just a little speck in the
Yeah.
grand universe, right? And there's definitely people who want to ensure that we think that we're the greatest, because then that gives them a reason to have the power and drive society the way it does. So you know, they touched on it in the movie, and I'm sure, Chalo, you have questions to get us there, but you know, they said it would be dangerous if all of the truth was open to the public. Who gives him the right to decide that they have the right to know? It makes you wonder. That's how all of history has gone down.
Real quick, Jay, I know you're about to hop in. I just wanted to say, Christina, you're right. It goes back further than 1897. You know, like we talked about it like in the other podcast where we were like, angels could easily have been thought of it, could have easily been aliens, you know, but they called them
Right.
angels back then. So yeah, no, definitely it goes. I'd say from the beginning, we see these stories, you know. So that was a good point that you just made there. And I'm sorry, Jay, I didn't mean
No,
to
you're
jump
fine.
in there.
You're fine.
All right, I know you keeping the alien
I
break.
know you didn't actually see the movie, Jay.
No.
Your answer will probably be it is reality. You know, if you saw it. You know,
I mean,
just knowing the way you are. But
So basically, movies have they use some kind of real story to kind of write this. So this kind of sounds like the story of Gary McKinnon in 2002 when he hacked NASA and he hacked the Pentagon and he found non-terrestrial officers. He found what was a space force before there was a space force. There were even ships that were spaceships that were USS whatever. So he hacked them for 13 months. He's from the UK. So that's a true story, So, I mean, he got it, he got in trouble for it. I think he went to jail for it. But that would be sounds like the story where they're getting the legitimate stories from. But he said there's non-terrestrial officers, that work for the government. There's, the officer that's the guy that's from Venus, that's like 500 years old, that supposedly works in the Defense Department. And they, like Phil Schneider talked about him, I mean, these government contractors that actually were part of the government that saw some pretty interesting stuff. Phil Schneider, he came forward. He was a whistleblower. He talked about, was it New Mexico, Dulce, New Mexico, where they broke into an alien base. They found an alien base under the military base. They killed some, and he was hit with an energy weapon, and it cut his fingers off and cut into his belly, and he has the scars to prove it. So, and he was a defense contractor. There's many, many stories out there that prove that, yes, they are here. They're disclosing something to us. They're letting us in on something, right? They'll never let us know the whole truth. They'll let us know bits and pieces. But the stories have been around long before the United States government existed. They're the stories that are hundreds of thousands of years old. Technically, the Sumerian, it's 450,000 years old. So
Right.
The stories are been a long time coming, and the United States is literally the only country that doesn't accept UFO stuff. Like the Native Americans talked about UFOs for years. They called them flying canoes, right? When they were out near the Grand Canyon, when there was water out there. So
The Vedic text references them too.
the who?
It's just all the Vedic text.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean,
All
the
throughout
Hindu
history.
texts. The Hindu
Right.
texts talk about them. Like, I mean, everything. They've been around for millennia. So yeah, we're just a speck of time. They've been around for a long time.
Well,
So-
I think disclosure is the key. So, especially with this movie. So, in the movie, the main character, he's faced with the decision of, like I said, he stole this information, of whether releasing this information to the masses would be a good thing or a bad thing. So, should he keep it a secret, or, should he expose the truth? So, faced with the same decision, what would you do?
So
Start with you, Rashawn.
yeah, so me, I feel like the truth should always be out there, right? Like there's a reason why why facts are facts and truths are truths. I don't like.
Well, hold on one second before you get into it. Let me preface that with the way the government works as a whole is they tell us we're on a need-to-know basis with pretty much everything. And some stuff they will even lie to us about just because they think it's in our best interest. So,
Right,
like
but
them keeping this from us would be one of the lies that they tell because they feel like it's in our best interest not to know. So go ahead.
I guess I don't trust government to tell me what's in my best interest, right? Like I don't trust them. I feel like that, I am my own person and I can make my own decisions and I can believe and decide what I want to decide and then take information in and do with it as I will, right? So, and I think that's one of the big philosophical ideas that's in this movie is like, what would happen if this information was ever brought out, and he kind of touches on it. You had you have every character, so you even have a nun, so that was the religious aspect of everything, right? But it was kind of cool though, because in the movie the nun actually took the side of no, the truth. We can't be the only people out here. But a lot of people, if you think about it, what would happen to religion, right? Like what would happen to religion if we found out that there's other beings out here? Me personally, I go with what the movie said. I feel like religion would expand, evolve a little bit because it would have to, But right now, religion just says that we're the center of God's creations and stuff like that, and that would have to change. That'd be a big thing. So, yeah, no, I always go on the side of the truth, man. Again, like I'm gonna just say one more time, I don't trust government or other people deciding what I need
So
to know.
you would spill the beans.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What you,
Absolutely, I
Christine?
would.
So I've been thinking about this, and so I feel like Rashawn that we should know the truth, that we shouldn't be gated from the truth. And this is a question I think that we've been asking ourselves since the birth of religion. So if you put yourself all the way back, right, to our other podcasts, and they're just so tightly coupled, so that's why I keep bringing it up. But in the Garden of Eden, right, they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, but it's the tree of knowledge. You needed that knowledge, and then their eyes awoken and they realized, right, that they weren't cared for, they were naked, right? They tell the story in a way that their needs were taken care of and God was benevolent and all of these things. But if you look at it from another perspective, you had these people on this earth that's not conducive to humans whatsoever. If you're naked onto this earth, you're already exposed to nature, all these things. So, right, at that point, they had a deity in this book determining that they didn't need to know the truth, already decided for them. And it's a question that continues to be asked all of the time. Who gets to decide who gets to know the truth? Why do we have people deciding whether or not someone is able to handle the truth? Jack Nicholson in that movie, Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. Don't make that decision for me. Let me make it on my own. Let me make it on my own. And so the girl, so you called out the nun, Rashawn, but the other girl said that people would lose their faith, that they would
Yes.
doubt if the truth was to them. And I looked at Chase and I said to him, I said, if your belief system is so fragile that when the truth itself is revealed to you that you no longer have your faith, then was it ever true faith? Or did
Yeah.
you just believe a fairy tale or a myth? So yes, I think that we are owed truth. Why should I not be able to have access to that?
What about you, Jay?
So, I guess as part of the population, we all want to know the truth, and we're like, oh, wait, we can handle it. Could we though? I think so. I think it would create mass panic. I think, when you start divulging information that people think isn't true, people think you're crazy. I know. So, hey, let me tell you, people would be like, oh, you out of your fucking mind. And then they find out years later, oh, shit. That dude was right, man. I called him every word in the book. It's like, honest to God, information is kind of scary, when you got too much of it. There are a lot of stories of aliens throughout history. So it's like, the telescopes that they're using now, where they just focus at a little tiny dark spot in space the size of a grain of sand and find 20,000 galaxies, and it's hard to say that there's not life within 20,000 galaxies. Within one, yeah, but there's life in our galaxy. There's other water. There's that planet Sirius that is floating around in the asteroid belt. It looks like it has cities on it. They found that with a telescope in 2015. So, there's life out there. It's just, where do you want to, and they have a 3-mile tall pyramid on that planet. Or
Real quick.
It's a moon. So,
I want to go back to what you said though. So you don't think that the truth should be disclosed? You think that it would cause? You think it would cause panic, worldwide panic, and because I just want to. I have a point to this, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Yeah. Now look, so I'm one of those where I think everybody should have all information, but when you control the information, you have control. So if they relinquish control and give us the information, well, we pretty much don't need them no more. So that would be mass chaos, right? Because people go, oh, well, you don't need the powers to be, you don't need it. This is all fake, which people figure out, and people living off grid and stuff. Like, people when they're like, oh, the government is, doing experiments on us and stuff,
Right.
But they're making deals with aliens and stuff where they can experiment on us. Like, I mean, there's been reports.
I just want to push back a little bit. I don't think that society will collapse. I don't think religion will collapse. We've seen it. We've seen it
first though.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My bad. My bad, Charlo. My bad.
The host gets a chance too.
Go ahead, Charlo. I'm sorry. My bad.
Only host
getting into it.
Jesus Christ.
I'm getting passionate, man. Go ahead, brother.
All right. So my answer to that question is I agree with Jay. Normally I would say expose the truth. I want to know the truth, but I am not ignorant to its repercussions because, and especially like I look at the time that we're living in right now. And like, I used to think like as a country, we were smarter, but like Donald Trump has showed me that like a lot of us ain't that smart, man. Like we fall for some, I ain't gonna even say Donald Trump. I'm gonna say the entire way the government is ran. It just shows like how we just accept it and make excuses for it. And I mean, our ignorance to what's going on, I think it's in our best interest to not know a lot of stuff. Because it's like this. Like if you got a crowded room full of people and it's a bomb in there, you don't want to say, hey, everybody leave, it's a bomb. You got to evacuate people in a manner where they're going to be calm and collected. Because if you say it's a bomb, everybody's just going to bomb rush the exit and kill each other anyway, trying to get out. That's it would be different if you could say there's a bomb and everybody be like, okay, be cool. And they would line up in the single file line and leave, but it wouldn't happen like that. And I kind of think like as a country, that's where we're at too. Like there would be panic. There, and it's a lot of irrationality out there. I just don't think, I think some things, we're not ready for. Some people ain't, a majority of us ain't. And being in the Army, I understand why they keep certain stuff from us because like I said, it would cause a reaction that might, have bad consequences. Go ahead, Rashawn.
Okay. No, I just think that we've seen this before, right? Like we've seen this when we moved from the heliocentric idea that the Earth was the center of the universe and everything like that. And it was a huge thing. I remember they had Galileo or whatever in house arrest because he wouldn't bring it down and everything. But religion and people, when confronted with that idea, it didn't collapse. Society didn't collapse. It evolved, right? That's what happens when you get more knowledge. Sure, there's a time where you have growing pains, obviously. But I think that ultimately, when faced with new knowledge, society adapts. So that's what they did with the Big Bang Theory, the age of the Earth. They've done that with the whole Earth isn't the center of the galaxy. They fought. The Earth is round. They fought it for a while. There was fighting, especially amongst the religious people. They didn't like that, and they tried to hide the truth, like what might be possibly happening now. But it got out. I guess I feel like that we as a society are already living in a state of constant panic already, right? Like I feel like society, the way that it's set up now, we are in a constant state of pattern. There isn't a time where there isn't a chill time. So, if you were to bring an idea and to bring more knowledge into this, I think that it would bring more clarity about us as a people. It would also show the world that we're not alone and we are one species, and maybe might even bring us together. There could be some positive forces behind something like that. But I always side on, releasing the truth. I think the truth should be released. I think people deserve to know. That was my only pushback.
Okay.
I didn't want to get into a soliloquy. That's why I stopped right there. I felt like I was going too long. I could already hear Charlo
Well,
talking.
I mean, no, and like I said, I don't disagree with putting the truth out there. I just think that in some instances, like Jack Nicholson said, we can't handle the truth. Like some instances where we can't, like for instance, take my grandmother for instance. If she was to find out that there was no such thing as Jesus or God, I don't even know what she'd do. Like that's where her world is around. Like she centered her whole world around.
But
Like
just
it's that and
because
then
the
everything
information
else.
is out there does not mean that she has to change what she believes. Withholding the truth from society does not mean that those people have to change and say that they believe that that is true. Once it's out there, you have a level playing field. Now everyone has access to the information. Over time, that information, if it's proven and consistently, accepted over time, the older generations die off because this is a cycle of life. So that sounds really dark because you're talking about your grandma. So respectfully, at some point she won't
No,
be here, and
she
then
died a
that
while
new
ago.
information and then that new information is widely accepted, and then the new generations take that as just a part of their everyday life. And so yeah, the chaos that you guys are concerned about is a temporary moment of chaos, transition, change, especially puts that pressure, right? And it's uncomfortable. It's just like healing. Becoming educated is no different than healing. It's uncomfortable and it makes you challenge everything you knew and look at it from another perspective and then take that leap forward. We can't take that leap forward if we always put our head in the sands and want to sit there and gaslight ourselves on what we think is true without taking a step back and questioning that. That's what the scientific model. You have to constantly look and reevaluate your data, reanalyze, and see if what you thought before consistently remains the same as truth.
Yeah, and I think that the movie suggests that discovering aliens doesn't prove or disprove God. It simply expands what creation might look like now. That's all. You know what I mean? So it's not saying that she couldn't believe still that there was. I think what it would say
specifically could still have existed and had power, right?
Right, and maybe the stories of the Bible and all those type of things were specifically for us. You know what I mean? For our species.
Right.
It doesn't mean that it's for everybody in the universe. That's all. We've already blown past we've already touched on it. If you think scientifically, with like I said, the Big Bang, the age of the Earth, all that stuff has shattered the Bible already. So all aliens to me would just be like, we're not alone in the universe. Doesn't mean that there isn't a God. It just means that maybe there was a God that had created different stories and different people in different places. It doesn't mean that it would shatter it or anything like that, in my opinion, at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the new school in you. That, like I'm telling you, like from I've told you how her religion is. How women can't even wear pants, bro. You think they're going to accept that there's alien life? And I'm telling you, it's that strict. And I understand it. Like I told you, it was more than a religion. It was a lifestyle. Like it was a lifestyle that she led is what I'm trying to tell you. Like it wasn't like,
could you imagine?
I go to church on Sunday. She goes to church every single day.
Now, could you imagine the Muslim religion finding out there's a whole bunch of that? They would melt. They would melt down. I'm just Muslim specifically, but I'm just saying, like, the religious groups of people, like he's talking about, would melt down, which is most of the world.
You're thinking of it like they think they're looking at it in a scientific way. They don't.
Right.
Like they believe truly that two people created everybody on this earth. That's impossible scientifically.
Right. Absolutely.
They believe it. You see what I'm saying? You're shattering that.
Right,
You're
but it's been
shattering
shattered.
that.
I'm just saying that in history,
It
it's
hasn't
been
been
shattered.
shattered. They still
It
don't.
was.
No, it doesn't because they
It was.
don't believe that. That's
But
what I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell you.
in the
For as long
beginning,
as history has been, as many books has been published, they don't believe that. They still believe that the man was created from two human beings. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I
That's the
understand.
essence of the religion. I'm trying. There's no diversion. Like the
I
Right.
think the
scientific part
difference
of it,
is
for
the
those people,
scientific
right?
part, right? And it's a lot of those people. What I'm saying is that's not a little bitty amount of the people. That's like kind of, if you think about it, the majority of religion on Earth
Right.
feels that way.
You're
That's what
talking
I'm trying to
billions.
tell
You're
you.
talking billions of people.
Wait, but I think that you have people that are religious that are also scientific. I think those two can
Right,
coexist
I understand
together, right?
that,
I
Sean,
don't
but
think,
that's not the majority. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's not the
Yeah.
majority by any means. By
Right.
any means. The majority is my grandmother. I'm trying to tell you. The
I
majority is my grandmother. I've
I
argued
don't
with many
think the
people.
I would
majority
disagree
is your
with that
grandma
one.
at
Yeah, I
this
would disagree
point.
with
There's
that
a
one.
It's just
lot of
because you're
people
coming in it
shifting.
from a new school state
Right,
of
new
mind.
school.
Now look,
Right,
now,
new. That means happening right now. But what's happened in the past is them people, bro.
now listen. Now
Those
he's
people.
right. He's right here. What we're thinking about is you're thinking about in America is what you guys are thinking about. Most of the world is like Muslim. That's why I picked that out. I mean, there's a lot more. There's Muslims and Christians and all that all over the world. But these old school Christians that are in these other countries, like they couldn't hear none of that. They're just like the Muslims. Like he's right. Where
I'm
you guys are
gay
right about
Christianity,
America.
that's over here, bro.
Yeah.
Those
That's
are
over
still
here. That's new school stuff.
You guys are right
Gay
about America.
Christianity, the LMNOP and the Christianity community. That's here, dude. That's new stuff.
Yeah.
That's not worldwide.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though,
But
if
you're
that was the
only
case,
talking about two Western religions, and that's only two religions of the entire world.
But isn't that
The
2/3 of the
majority
world?
the entire world
That's
is
like
Christian
2/3
and
of the
Muslim.
world. Yeah.
but what I'm saying, but what
The
I'm saying,
majority of the world is
I think it's
Christian
even more
and
than
Muslim.
2/3. Yeah.
yes, hold on, stop real quick. What I'm saying though is that you could be Muslim, you could be Christian and still believe in science. We see that all the time. That's not new
I'm
school.
not arguing that.
Right.
It
But what
is.
hold on,
It
let me
is new
finish though.
school,
But
though.
look, it's not though. What happened when we found out when the earth wasn't the center of the universe? That's not new school. That happened centuries ago. And that's what religion taught people back then. That's what it taught them. It taught them that Hellenistic idea. But then it was a huge ordeal changing it.
What verse did it tell them that the earth was the center of the universe? I never
What
saw
I'm saying is that's what it was largely believed. The Roman Catholic Church
Yes,
and all
that
that.
was what was
That's what was believed. Yes, it was believed that the earth was the center religiously.
But it wasn't preached in
God,
the Bible.
Yes, but it was.
Was,
God
that's
made
the belief you could have
they
just
look,
from existing because you live in the
Bible
world
didn't
and you can
exist.
believe that. But the Bible, where in the Bible does it say that the earth is the center?
And you're talking like maybe tens of thousands of people knew that the world or that thought that our universe was the center or our world was the center of the universe. What me and Chalo were talking about, billions of people do not believe any of that stuff. I mean,
that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be a shock to the system. Like,
I'm
you're
not saying
trying
it
to
would be a
downplay.
shock. I'm not saying. I said there would be growing pains. That was my point. I said there would be. It would be. Yes, there would be. You would have those growing pains. But I think people can handle that. They've handled it before throughout history. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that this isn't the first time that the Bible's been shown that it's not completely, or the Quran's been shown that it's not completely accurate when you put science to it.
But see, what we're talking about right here is like the biggest story that would ever have been released at this point. Like if they came out with like, oh yeah, aliens are real, this kind of alien, all the stories you heard, dude, that would that'd be the biggest story in history. Like a lot of people would be like, whoa, what the hell? You know, when people see aliens, alien crafts and stuff in the sky, they freak the fuck out. It's like, and you're seeing one. Like, could you imagine learning, all this, all that,
I already believe they exist.
They already believe in angels. They already believe in demons. They already believe in spirits. It was already documented in things that believed for a long time throughout ancient history. The narrative changed because the people in power wanted the narrative to change. You guys are acting like it would be the biggest thing since sliced bread, but it's actually like it would be a temporary moment, and then we would adjust, accept it, and move on. Just like we adjusted and accepted that the earth is round.
You're tripping if you don't think that if they came out with God didn't exist, that wouldn't be the biggest thing.
Nobody's
Nobody's
saying God
saying
didn't
that.
exist.
Nobody's saying that. But the alien stuff
what
would be
I'm
pretty
saying
cool.
is that's what the alien stuff triggers in that religious community. The whole
Why
what
can't
they believe.
Only some of them. I've gone to plenty of churches where they accept that aliens could be a potential thing. So, like, I've gone to a lot of
That's what I'm
churches.
trying to say. Like, only churches I've seen accept like aliens and homosexuality. It's been over here. I don't see that in other churches
but
of the same religion
Have you
in
gone to
different
other
places.
churches in other
No,
countries?
but I've studied it because that's why I'm interested in
But
knowing.
the movie
like,
the
what-
movie even the movie even answers that question. Like she says, the nun literally says, I can't see us being here on the earth by ourselves. I can't see that God would only create us. That was
Yeah,
Steven Spielberg's way of
Supreme
answering that
creation on
question.
Earth.
But
Yeah.
why was there even tension about her asking that question? Because of what I'm saying, like that it's because of how religion is based. She was saying that, okay, yeah, I believe that. And she was giving her basically a new school sort of teaching, but the girl was worried because she had the old school teaching in her mind. That was the whole thing, and the nun made her feel better by giving her a new school, basically view of it. Like, well,
Now I want to drop something on us too here. So there's messengers that come from these other people that were sent to us, and we keep killing them. I mean, Jesus himself, he was a demigod, right? He was half God, half man. That his father was legit an angel. It wasn't God, it was an angel. It was the spirit of the Lord came onto Mary, which Gabriel's name was the spirit of the Lord. So anyway, so he was considered a demigod. We killed him. The latest one was in the 60s, Simeon Togo. Anybody ever heard of him? Now, he was in Africa. He was a black man. And they killed the hell out of him multiple times. They chopped up his body, took body parts in different countries and incinerated them. And he appeared again in their office. And he said, well, you guys obviously aren't ready for me, but when it's time, there's going to be hundreds more just like me. And he was able to heal people. He was able to do all the stuff Jesus did. They weren't ready for him, but he was here. So, and religiously, they keep sending more people. The people won't accept it. Like, I mean, right now, I don't want to really get into this part of the pot, but you know, like the whole, like the Jews want to sacrifice enough people to bring on their god Moloch, right? It's the same thing. Like they want that to happen so the end of the world can happen, which is everything lining up right now. They want to control that narrative. They don't want something out of play that would come here and do something that would upset their narrative because they have the control of the information.
Right.
So we're not saying that people can't handle the truth then. We're saying that people can't handle not being in control of the narrative and oppressing people with their beliefs. There's a difference between saying you can't handle the truth and I can't give up my power and I can't give up my control and I can't give up the oppression for the agenda that I have.
No, but that's another reason why we're not getting that information.
And to piggyback off, because I was just about to make the same point, Christina. And to piggyback off of that, what I was, looked up. Why did the church oppose heliocentrism? And they said a couple of reasons were the geocentric model had dominated Western thought for nearly 1,500 years. It aligned with the philosophy of Aristotle and the astronomy of Ptolemy. But then, this is the most important thing it said. Church leaders worried that abandoning a long-held interpretation of Scripture might undermine confidence in biblical authority more broadly. They knew that if this new knowledge got out, they would lose power. It's a power thing. Knowledge, information is power. So when they're holding back knowledge from us, they're holding back power. Basically, they're able to create their own narrative, shape things the way they want them to go, and have us do basically their bidding or whatnot. You know what I mean? Think about it like the Bible, the beacon here is earth. Oh yeah, so it's okay to be.
In this time we're in, this is revelations, unraveling of the truth. This is why we're able to talk about stuff that nobody's talked about in history. Like We're coming to a specific moment in time that has been written about thousands of years ago. And every little detail seems to be coming in at this point in time, and it's never happened before. So it's a pretty remarkable time right
Well,
now.
I get that, but what I'm saying is that people that control knowledge could have the power.
Yes, they have all the power.
Okay. So when you guys say things like, the world can't handle the truth and all this kind of stuff,
Let
I'm
me ask
saying
you
that
this. Let me ask, because I used to ask my mama this. If Jesus came back, right, how would you know he was Jesus? What would he have to do to prove to you he was Jesus?
Exactly. Simeon
you're asking-
Togo. Perfect thing.
I don't. You're asking a guy that's arguably an atheist about Jesus.
If that's
Jesus
your
or the God,
if that's your belief
right?
and that's your religion, you can understand what impact that would have on you if he came back.
Oh, if he came back, I like any
How
normal
would you
human
know that?
being.
How would you
but
know?
I can't answer that. But what I'm saying is, if I'm presented with more information, I do what most human beings do, is adapt and learn and evolve. That's what we do. We've had this happen before. Historically, we evolved. We took that information in and we grew from that.
I'm not asking you a question of evolution. I'm just asking you I'm trying to get you to understand the shock on the system. Like, how would you know? Like, when Jesus came the first time, what happened to him?
Yeah, but if he came today, I think it would be different. Everybody's got cell phones. When the bottomless pit opens up, everybody's going to know.
How do you know it's him?
Say again?
How do you know it's him? How do you know it's Jesus?
Well, I think you'd be able to tell. They're trying to do these holograms now. So you're on to something. They're doing holograms in the sky where they're saying they're going to mimic Jesus as a hologram in the sky. So he's on to something.
And the reason I asked that, because I've been asking this since I was a little kid, because when Jesus was alive and he was Jesus, they didn't believe he was Jesus.
Right.
And they killed him.
Yeah.
Like that's so I'm like, okay, well, Mom, when he comes back, how you gonna know he's Jesus? And if I don't understand. If the first time he was here you didn't believe him and he wasn't Jesus, like when he comes back, how you gonna know he's what is he gonna have to do to prove to you that he's Jesus?
I would argue that people did believe he was Jesus and the Son of God. That's why we have a whole religion based off of him.
Yeah,
I believe people did believe it.
But at the time,
that's why you have Christianity.
But at the time, they mocked him.
You saying the majority believe that that's why we have Christianity? We had Christianity because of crusades. Christianity was not the main religion by any means in that time period. Christianity was something that was made and forced on the people through the crusades, through the most murder in the history of the world.
He's right.
They would come in, dude, and your whole country turned it into like how she was saying, generation after generation. They come in, they show you Christianity, they kill all the old people, they make you be a Christian, and then all your kids become Christian until it fades out, and that's all you know. That's what they used to do. That's how Christianity became a thing. That's how it became the biggest religion in the world. That's
right. But what I'm saying,
here.
Okay. So it's not like he had a bunch of followers.
He did. If you're gonna wage a war into the Crusades, you had followers.
That's why the Crusades followers, and the followers that he had were killed off, and then the ones that are now the Christians are the ones that followed what was dictated by the government and which that they needed to believe. The Bible was written because the person in power dictated that they wanted all of this council to come together and create this Bible. We're really diverging from the whole topic of the movie, by the way. And I think there's other things that are really good in the movie, but two things. I think people can handle the truth. I think that more people are more afraid of losing power than the human mind can adapt. We're actually a lot more capable than they want us to believe. And the reason why most people are acting like they're ignorant is because they're made ignorant on purpose. And we are capable of handling a lot more. And even if you are educated, that doesn't mean your faith is going to go away. It just changes and it becomes more unique and more individual to yourself. But when we get off this topic, I have a point about the movie that I really wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Go for it.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. So in the movie, if you noticed, they were showing in the truth files, right? Like, because they weren't actually like USB drives. They were weird. I don't know, Jay. Like, I don't know. Maybe you would know the technology, but they looked like USB files. But so on there, it showed that the humans, right, in this Wardex group were doing experiments, and the aliens were even put to sleep or sedated, that they were slapping the humans. It looked torturous. It was disturbing. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, if you're going to watch this movie or this video, you need to be careful. It's extremely disturbing. Now, on the grand scheme of things, we see far worse things on YouTube and TikTok every single day right now. For anyone who hasn't seen it, Jay, you haven't seen it. Now, what was interesting though is when the aliens brought the two main characters from the show and experimented on them in Hansel and Gretel's house, which was a ship or a lab or whatever, they didn't harm them. They showed up to them in a way that they were not intimidating as animals. So they came showing that they weren't threatening. They were kind. They imbued them. One was imbued with the universal language, mathematics, so that no matter what, they would have a ability to communicate with anyone throughout the entire universe. The other person was imbued with empathy so that they could understand everyone on Earth. And those two would become the bridge that would allow the civilization on Earth to be able to relate to the civilization, this specific alien civilization. And so what I found very fascinating was the psychology behind the fact that the humans were cruel and malicious, and they attacked the aliens, they killed the aliens, that they were hateful, and they were threatened and egotistical, where the aliens were like, you know what, we're going to find a way, and when the time is right, we're going to find the two people who are capable to creating a bridge between these two civilizations, these two peoples. And so that was like probably the most fascinating thing in the whole movie to me.
Well, I feel like the whole movie, the whole message of the movie was empathy, right? Like, so like even when the lady, the main character lady, even when she had to get her way, like she had to get past guards and stuff like that, what did she do? She showed she didn't fight or hit or shoot or harm anybody. She gave them memories of some of their most beautiful memories, and they moved out the way. Like that was just like she showed empathy. Like, here's some of your most empathetic moments in life. I'm gonna show them to you, and she moved them out the way. So even when there was a time when it would have been violence, they showed empathy. Like, it was always empathy. And so I thought you're right. I think that was a huge message that Steven Spielberg was trying to relay here. Was, I think the broader message here was that it was, the lesson here was empathy. I mean, even at the end of the movie, the last words is listen. It's just listen.
Right.
And it ends on listen.
And when she showed them like who was most dear to them, the one woman, if you remember, she kneeled down and she did this sign of the cross, and she goes, I don't want anyone to worship me. And she ran into the house and she was like, no, I want this part of this story. I want it to be my story. And I like cried at that point, because I was like, no, I completely understand, because like who I am to Rashawn is my friend, and the things that he knows about me, that's the story he would tell about me. Who Jay knows, you would tell a different story. You know me a little bit different. Same with all of the people I know. But my story, I want my story to be told by me, right? It was just so beautiful, because her story in those other people's eyes is how she related to and became who those people needed her to be. And in that moment, when they were trying to reveal who her identity was to herself, she wanted it to be her story.
Yeah.
And it was really beautiful.
I got shivers too. I did too at that moment. I was like, ooh.
All right, well, I'm going to end it with this final question, since you guys are so brave. Okay. Now, in the movie, the aliens were actual Greys. You know, the big eye, big head and Grey. They call them Greys. If you saw a Grey, you running or you stand to try to communicate?
I mean, I run when I see like wild turkeys outside, brother. I mean,
now you want to run with the bulls, so I mean, I'm
running from the bulls. Okay, I'm running from. I'll be there. I know where the bull is. No, that's an interesting question. I don't know, right? Like, part of me feels like, yeah, I'm running. I mean, when I used to see Christina run across the office, I was running, right? So I'm a runner. I'm a witness, but at the same time, I mean, maybe I'd stand there in awe. I don't know,
Do you think that's why they pick kids?
I think kids' brains are more open. I think that, okay, I think
that's the point I'm making. Like, do you think they pick the kids because?
Absolutely. You got to think we become more jaded as the world goes on. One thing that I think that's most beautiful about little kids is that they remind you how beautiful the world is. Like, I'll see a butterfly and be like, it's a butterfly. But my 6-year-old sees a butterfly, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. It reminds me, like, oh my God, that is kind of beautiful, right? So I think, yeah, absolutely, that's why they take kids, because kids have more open-minded, they have more empathy, they're more kind. They haven't learned the way of the world. They haven't been jaded yet, I just think that it'd be hard if they were just standing there. Now, if I got the message like it was given to me in the movie, like on my TV screen, and it was something like, because the alien message to me was listen. And to me, that could be like multiple levels, right? Listen to one another, listen before reacting.
No, I'm talking. Yeah. I'm talking. He's standing in front of you across the room. You see him across the room. You getting some ice cream, some of your favorite ice cream out the freezer. You turn around.
I'll be startled, man.
Across the room, and he started clicking. What was they was click.
I'll be startled, man. What are you doing in my home? First of all, I don't know.
So you staying there? You gonna talk to him?
I mean, I got my family. I gotta at least try and get my family safe. So it depends, man, where they stand. In front of the stairs? Is there a way out? I don't know, man. I don't know what I would do, brother. I honestly.
Okay. What about you, Christina?
So, I can't tell you what I would do right now, but I think the factors that would drive it would be the feeling that I got, right? Like, I'm very feeling like energy, like not like woo woo, right? Like, oh, I see. I don't know, but I would feel like, do I feel like I could trust it? And that kind of goes down to like its body language. Does it feel threatening? Does it look threatening? Does his behavior look like I'm in trouble? But yeah, like if I was at the fridge getting some water and it just was standing in the living room, all of a sudden I'd be like, oh shit, fuck, oh my God, oh sorry, oops, we might need to edit that. Sorry, okay. But I would like freak out, right? Yeah. And so then though, I'd be like, okay, well then I would be curious, like, I'd probably be one of those girls in the horror movies that like, you're like, don't do it. Don't do it. Christina, don't do it. And I'd be like, but okay, let me just see. Like, I wouldn't like run up to it and be like, oh my God, it's an alien, let me hug you. But I would also like probably hug it if I thought that it was nice. Like if it was like E.T. or something, like, and it ended up being a nice alien, I'd be friends with it. We'd be besties. But like if it was threatening, I'd be like, yeah, let's kill it. Like, oh my God, don't try to kill my kids. Like, I mean, and there's a whole spectrum between those two emotions too. Like, ooh, should I be your friend? I don't know. So I think it would all just be the vibes. Like, don't fuck with my kids. Like, don't. But other than that, I might end up dead because I became best friends with an alien.
What about you, Jay?
Well, I didn't really, I'm probably not the one to ask this one too. So what I'm thinking is like, okay, I'm a nobody.
Your hat. You gonna show me that?
Look, I'm a nobody, dude. If an alien shows up in my house, he's here to anally probe me. He's getting shot. Okay, that's just the truth of it. If I'm a political leader or something, then hey, what are you P-53 or a P-47? Because those are ones that come from the future, right? They're humans that have evolved differently because of a catastrophic event that happened in the past. That's what the gray aliens are. So yeah, if I, was out in a field or something, he'd probably have a better chance of communicating with me. And I got a lot of questions. I'd probably be a good one to come
He
see.
probably would too, man, seeing you with that hat on.
Yeah, but I ain't into the anal probe, yo. So
You'd be like kinfolk. He might think you kinfolk with that hat on.
Jay said no to pegging, man.
Yeah, nope. Jay don't swing that way, so bang bang.
Well, I'm gonna let you know, man. I'm gonna end it on this. I ain't that curious, dude. I'm just trying to tell you, I'm out. You talking all that with my family, man? Man, please. I'm gonna be outside and I'm gonna scream up to my wife. I'm gonna scream and let her know. Try to crawl out a window if you can. But yeah, I mean, first of all, if he got in my house and I didn't know, like I didn't, hear him come in and I'm getting ice cream, then obviously he on something different. So I'm
You guys
gonna
would
go
accidentally
outside.
shoot Jesus if you showed up in your house. That's what I'm
They
hearing
would,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, Jesus would be shot. That's what your grandmother would be so mad at you too. Ooh,
Yeah,
he was in my
I
house,
mean,
Grandma. I was just
I
standing
don't
there in a
know.
robe with long hair. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I was just shot.
No, but honestly, I probably, on a serious note, I probably would run like that. I'm one of them guys. I gotta assess the damage from afar. I gotta assess the threat from afar. I don't want the threat all up on me trying to assess it. I'll go far away from it and assess if it's a threat or not from there, and then interact with it. But yeah, if I was eating my ice cream, I turn around and dude was there, I'm out. I am out. You know what I mean? I don't know what you think you would be doing for your family. Like usually, it depends on my family, man. What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? If
Fight or flight.
if you turn around with a spoon and a pint of
Yeah.
a little a pint
Fight or
of ice
flight,
cream,
and I'm too fat to run.
what are you gonna do, Rashawn? Like, hey,
Man, I
August.
don't know. I gotta be in that situation.
I'm too fat to run.
You better offer him some of that ice cream.
Hey, I urge everybody to watch this podcast to go see Disclosure Day. It's a great movie. I mean, look at the conversations it's generated. I'd argue that it's less about aliens and more about humility. I think that it kind of argues the point that the hardest point of Disclosure isn't really accepting another intelligent species exists. It's accepting that, us as humans may not be the center of the story anymore. So, but yeah, great movie, man.
And everybody go see the movie. It was good. I'm sorry we effed it up for you, Jay. We go.
No, it's fine. I know the real stories, but I'm going to watch it. It sounds really good.
Yeah.
But I got a lot more stories.
All right.
You'll love it.
The podcast you didn't know you needed. The Conversation to Be Had podcast.